It was just a shame we couldn't have an MKY pick of that.
It's true. It's true. Okay, Kelim Perek Yud. And for those that I can't say this is including myself, but for those that remember anything from Kelim, tonight's daf is all about Masechta Kelim. So I think it's Perek Ches, so it wasn't even that long ago. So I think Mishnah
The
Vav or Hey? Yeah,
Vav,
Vav,
we did
Vav.
Hey.
Yeah, Hey was the gypsum. Yeah. All right, Chavis, if you have a barrel, Shenikva Ustamu Shmorim. Again, this is all about seals, sealing the if you have, and this is mamash for tonight's stuff. This is hachana for tonight's stuff. If you have a barrel of earthenware barrel and it has tuma inside it, and within that barrel you have something else that's sealed, so then whatever's inside that thing, let's call it a thermos. You have a thermos with inside that barrel or inside that oven of earthenware, then it will protect anything that's inside from becoming tummy. But so now the Mishnah is here in Perek Yura discussing makeshift seals on these bottles or utensils that are inside the barrel. So the barrel had a hole in it, but there were all the how do you call it, the dregs and the sediments landed in the hole of the barrel. So now that made a makeshift seal, right? So hitzilua, that's a good enough seal, right? Even though it was actually machlokes in the last Mishnah, but this Mishnah is paskening that's considered enough of a seal. Pikaka bismaira, let's say, sorry, Pikaka bismaira, let's say you stuffed it up with grapevine. Achi mareach, that's not enough. That's not enough of a seal. Achi mareach, when that's done, you have to seal it from the sides. Hayushtayim, let's say there were two vines. Yeah, meaning if you stuffed it with two vines, then you have to wait until you put cement or plaster around the sides and in between each vine, meaning you have to make sure you seal it well. If you have a board that you put on top of an oven, so again, if you plaster it around the sides so that it totally seals the oven, hitzel, that will also save the tumah from traveling. Hayushnayim, but let's say there were two covers. Meaning this is a hamish. Like the first case is it's one cover covering the entire oven. This one it's two. You have to seal around the sides and in between each nest. I mean, it has to be mamash a solid seal. Asan besinin or beshugmin. Let's say you make them with sinin is the klipas dakas of a snev, thorn bush. I don't know why it has to be a thorn bush, but you take the little shavings of a thorn bush. Shugmin is some sort of grass. Then you don't have to plaster in the middle because they naturally, I guess that's why it's a sneh, thorn bush. These things naturally stick together, so therefore we assume that it's so stuck together that it makes a proper seal, and therefore everything's going to be protected. Okay, Mishnah Zayin, Tanur Yoshan b'soicha chodesh. So let's say you have a Tanur Yoshan, an old Tanur, which is a kli, and it's inside a brand new oven. If you remember way back a bunch of prakim ago, we said that an oven is not considered a kli until you finalize it, meaning until you have to heat it up in order for it to solidify, I guess. Right? So you have an old oven, which is a kli, inside a new oven, which is not a kli. Usrida al piya yashan, and then you take a cover and you put it. A cover is not a kli, right? It doesn't have a kli kibel, it's just a cover. You put it on top of the old oven. Nitala yashan usrida nefela. So then, if when you take the oven away, then the cover will fall down. So meaning the old oven, which is a kli, is holding up this cover. Hakol tummy, everything's tummy because it's not going to protect the tumah because it's being held up by a kli, right? And a kli being held up by another kli is not going to protect anything. Vim lav, and if not, then I'll call tar. Then everything is tar because it's independent. This cover is independent of the kli, so it's not a kli that's holding it up, right? Fine. Chodosh. Now, so that's a new oven inside an old oven. Let's say it's a new oven. I'm sorry, what did I just say? It's an old oven inside a new oven. The next case is a chodosh b'soich hayashan. If you have a new oven, which is not a kli, inside an old oven, which is a kli, usrida al pi hayashan, and then you also have this cover on top of the old one. Im ein b'chodosh l'srida paseach tefach. If between the new one and the srida there's no opening of a tefach, right? Then kol shebechodosh tar, everything that's in the new oven is tar. Right? Meaning even though it's being held up by the old oven on the outside, which is a kli, right? But it's still not going to go on top of the I'm sorry, it's going to, if you take away the old one, it's still going to lay down, it's going to be laying down on top of the top of the oven, of the new oven, right? So meaning, bottom line is the cover of this oven that's protecting you, protecting the other utensils from the tumah that's in the oven is an independent entity because it's not relying on the old oven to hold it up. So therefore, everything is tar. Why does it have to be a tefach though? Let's say it's not a tefach.
It's not a mokum, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm looking at the Rav. For some reason, if it's usually a tefach, you're right. You need to have a space of a tefach in order for it to be considered a proper oil. But here it seems to be the opposite. If it's less than a tefach, then it is. It would be an oil. More than a tefach, I think it's because it's a separate entity. I think so. Okay, let's see now some Hilchos Tshuva from the Rambam. Okay, we're up to Perek Gimel of Hilchos Tshuva and the Rambam. So he says, every person has schusim and averus. Tzaddik. It's interesting. It seems like it's a pretty low bar to be a tzaddik, right? I mean, all you need is the schuyas more than the averus, right? That's not bad. What?
That's what he says.
That's what he says. So
I would hope we're doing a lot more mitzvahs than averos, right?
That's true, but if you see me, David, you see me, I don't know, stealing, right? You're gonna call me a tzaddik?
I mean, are we talking about that I'm supposed to be down the cop's chus? Does that play a part in this?
No, I'm not talking about that you're actually judging me, but can you possibly, when you see a crook, so obviously
He stole the payday bar from your store.
I checked. We don't sell it.
Oh,
I checked already Sunday morning.
Okay.
I heard a good one today. Cauliflower.
Maybe because somebody stole it.
You should have cauliflower so your collar should flower.
Okay, and who's paying for those flowers?
I don't know, but it was in the Circle magazine.
I hear. Okay, all right. I got a sort of Shmuel Kamenetsky says, I'm sorry to bring back Hurrius for a bit, but in case anybody missed it. So Reb Shmuel Kamenetsky says in his sefer that you should not make up, I think it was Reb Shmuel Kamenetsky, you should not make up all these types of things. It turns the whole thing into a litzanis, which I think he's correct. Not that he needs my backup, but
okay, so I'm not gonna have cauliflower.
Yeah. Anyway, so no, I'm saying we're not judging anybody. I'm just talking about, say, in theory, somebody could really do Averis, and as long as his Chusim are more than his Averis, then he's considered a tzaddik. Now, how maybe our definition of tzaddik just means you're a good. We think tzaddik, and it's like, ooh, you know what I mean, like that type of thing. Maybe tzaddik just means you're
What it
tzaddik.
says
This
You're-
is one second, Chad. This is your long time explanation of Ilam Haba, of the baseball stadium.
What do you mean?
You could be. This is what you always say. You could be a tzaddik. You'll get in, but are you going to sit in the bleachers or you're sitting over the dugout?
Oh, like that. And a chanami. Oh, okay. You mean sit, but Lamaisi is still called a tzaddik.
You made it into the stadium, right? That's what I'm saying. This is what you always say. You made it into the stadium. You got tickets to the game.
Right. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. But Lamaisi, he's still called a tzaddik. Okay, I'm just trying to be mechazik, Gus. That's all. Yeah. Of Russia. And if you're that one makes sense to me at least. If your averis are more than your schuyas, then you consider Russia. Merza lemerza beinani. Right. If you're in between, then you're an in between. Right. Bechena Medina im hayu schuyas kol yeshver merubas alavonaseyan harizet tzadekes. If the nation has more schuyas, so then it's tzadekes. Im hayu avonaseyan merubin harezu risha. Bechen kol olam kuli in the whole world, same thing. What are you saying?
Does he break it down? Like, let's say, I mean, the guy he gave an almana $20,000 tzedakah, right? And on the other hand, he missed saying Moran Atol 16 tefillas in a row. So is that 16 averas by one mitzvah? He doesn't say levels.
Right.
It has to be.
I don't know. You mean no? You have to. What do you mean? You talking about this? The age old? I don't know. Is it an age old question? I don't know. Did we discuss this?
Oh, man,
No, I don't. Meaning you're totally. It's totally. It's not a numbers game, right? That's what you're saying.
yeah, that's what I thought. But
Yeah, qualitative or quantitative?
Yeah,
It has to be included, the quality.
it has to be. I
Why?
think he discusses it. I don't know if he's this. Somebody. They definitely discuss it.
okay.
He doesn't discuss it here though.
Oh, he doesn't. Okay.
No, he doesn't. As far as I remember.
Why? Because otherwise I'm going to the bank and getting a penny, $1,000 in pennies and giving out everybody a penny.
The Rambam says that's what you're supposed to give tzedakah like that. You're
Right.
supposed to. Rambam says you better to give more people less amount than.
Oh, come on.
I can't understand that Rambam either, which is fine because that's good, right?
Yeah, he also says you should get like Naftali just said in small denominations. So
Right.
no, so
Well,
you-
what?
so it's 10 motions of putting it in the pushka instead of one motion. He says that, no?
Yeah. Also, why don't you walk longer to shul?
It's Yaakov. Let's say the guy refuses a small denomination. Give him
That's
smaller.
not
He
you get the
obviously
schus.
doesn't need it.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's not true, Jesse. But
Well,
what
it's
do you
too
do?
small. He's throwing it in your face.
I've had multiple people do that to me recently.
Oh yeah.
It's
Try
all
me out.
relative.
Try me out.
So
Akiva.
now
I'll
give
be all right.
nickels, not pennies.
Then you're missing the whole point of giving tzedakah. The whole point of the Rambam is that you're supposed to the multiple times is because tzedakah is for you, not for the other person. But if it's being thrown back in your face, it kind of goes against what you're trying to do.
Right. Enochanami.
But for tzedakah, is your mitzvah to give it, or is it for your mitzvah for the person to be makabel it? If you give it,
Your
you give
mitzvah
it.
is to give it.
Well, that's
bring
why
your
that's,
raya.
that's the Rashba. I keep it. That's
You don't even the Raj, but the Gemara says, let's say you give tzedakah and the guy's a liar.
right.
Still consider giving tzedakah.
Correct, but the
it's not telling the person that you're giving it to, it's telling the person giving it.
Right. But the Rashba says that the reason why you don't make a bracha on giving tzedakah, why don't you make a bracha on giving tzedakah? Because the guy might not take it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but
Anyway.
that doesn't mean that it's totally the other person.
Fucking Katsi Shia.
Yeah.
What about Zachal Adam Shalom B'Fanav? If I put it into his, I take the money, I put it into his account without him knowing. So that's he has to be makabelit. So I agree with Zachal Shalom B'Fanav. So he says I should make a bracha then.
Well, wow, that's why we don't do it.
We don't put the money in his account, or we don't make the bracha.
I don't know. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll stop with that.